they're setting up. They're going to go to the digital world to save Kalumon.
Yeah, so this is like, I feel like it's a well handled episode. Like, not much happens, but does feel really important. Because, like, essentially, this is like all the kids have to say goodbye to their families and, like, just sort of conclude their relationships with them. Because, like, everyone's going to the digital world, so they're like, there's a real possibility they might not be able to make it back. So it's like this weird thing where it's like, okay, all the parents and stuff are just gonna be out of the show from now on. This is like their last hurrah, basically. At least until the very end, I guess.
I was gonna say,
Because I know where this goes. But yeah, it feels like we're finally getting to that, like, middle arc where we change settings and then, like, like, deal with the problem in the other world.
I mean, we gotta go to the digital world. It's Digimon.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm just kind of watching that scene. That scene I was talking about in Cross Wars. I'm trying to find. I thought there was a line where it's just like where like certain characters don't exist in their universe or whatever. But I don't. Yeah. I'm not seeing it actually.
I feel like that'd be pretty consistent with the lore, but like it's still such a weird, like, thing. Like, you telling me that, like, Atmon...
It is worth noting that Takado's line is something like he sees Tai and Davis standing beside each other. It's like, wow, it's crazy seeing those two next to each other.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Met. So that I don't know, that tells me that, like, Tai and Davis don't exist in his world. But I'm not even gonna try and think about who pulled who into whoever's reality.
So I think they said it's like, oh yeah, like Digimon's a show in their world or whatever. Does that mean that's like Tai and Davis were cartoon characters in Takado's world?
Yes.
Like, did Takado watch Digimon 02 and he's like, this is kind of bad, but it's still fine. I'm still a fan.
I'm doing some Google searches.
Okay.
Yeah, we can keep talking about stuff.
So yeah, like, I'm just gonna do this in whatever order comes to mind, because it's like, Henry goes back home, and he's like, kind of tells the truth to his dad and sister, and his dad's like, oh hey, you're using this art to communicate with digital monsters, huh? Oh, that's crazy. He's like, take good care of it and stuff. He's like, I believe in you. And, like, Henry's like, okay, I need to, like, get Terriermon from my sister. And he's like, oh, hey, like, Terriermon's not a toy, and I need to take him away for a while. And she starts crying.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's fine with Terriermon just being an animal. In fact, like, it's kind of implied she might have known all along.
I think in the dub she says that. I think in the dub she's like, I knew the whole time. But in the sub, she says no such thing.
Yeah, like, she's just so unfazed by it that it's like, okay, yeah, she must have known. Man, like, somewhere along the way, we really must have, like, missed one specific scene. It's, like, the only scene I will have, like, wanted to watch the dub for. There's a scene where, like, Yamaki tries to confront, like, Takao's bakery or whatever, and, he's like, Takao's like, oh yeah, you're that man who keeps going to the bakery and buying day-old bread. And he's like, how old was that bread?
Okay, so what is this? The Google search says that Tamers, not Tamers, Adventure and Adventure 02 are, like, continuous to each other, of course.
Yeah.
And then everything else is in its own universe.
Okay, makes sense.
Except for Fusion / Cross Wars, where everything becomes canon all at once.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's it's gonna be super interesting when we get to that, and there's just an entire group of people with dinosaurs.
Also, we missed an important detail of the previous episode, and it's that Leomon officially becomes Jerry's partner.
Oh right, I was gonna mention that. I
Jerry get,
forgot.
yeah, Jerry reaches out to Leomon, who tried to catch Makuromon while he was escaping with Calamon, and he gets wrecked, falls to the ground, and as she's reaching out to Leomon, a Digivice appears in her hand.
Yeah. So that's how that works, I guess. It's you don't have to have a partner that just appears specifically for you. You can just have something you're just very familiar with or close to or whatever, and they can become your partner.
Or Leomon was meant to be her partner all along, and Jerry's feeling that was the case. It was true the whole time.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but it's yeah, this does imply that it's Ryoji or whatever his name is could just find a thing and be oh, I want that to be my partner, and then it can just kind of happen.
Yeah. It is worth noting that Leomon appeared right in front of Jerry. When he realized.
Yeah. But yeah,
I kind of believe it was intended.
I know it's kind of hard to say, really. Because, Digimon just sort of appear all the time, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just because Leomon appears specifically right in front of her.
Yeah. But yeah, so, Henry wraps those up, and it's Takato has a big talk with his family where he's oh yeah, I gotta go on this dangerous mission, and they're oh, but you can, you're just a kid, and he's no, I gotta do what I gotta do. And his dad's just yeah, he knows what he's doing, he's got a dinosaur, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he kind of just walks into the bakery and is so this is Guillemon.
This is the dinosaur I was taking care of, and he can murder rats very easily.
I get Takato's mom being freaked out at first, but Guillemon never shows any sign of aggression at all, and Takato's just hanging out with him. You think she'd ease up a little bit, at least as far as okay, he's not gonna hurt anybody, it seems.
Yeah. Takao's dad feels like the real weirdo here, because he's just weirdly into it.
Yeah, well, when he sees Guillemon, he's just oh, it's the box! Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, he's oh yeah, yeah, Guillemon's fine. He seems like a good boy. I'm gonna make some Guillemon bread. Yeah.
So that I don't know, it's kind of funny that Takato's dad seemingly kind of had an idea, maybe he didn't, it's okay, he didn't know it was a dinosaur, like a lizard thing, but it's he knew Takato was hiding something.
Yeah, of course. I think he was the one brought up, right? Early on. Because he has that little scene where he's oh yeah, can Takao keep his pet or whatever? And they're nah, we can't. And he's yeah, but I had something when I was a kid, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows that Takato's hiding some kind of animal, and then when he sees Guillemon, it just kind of clicks, and it's oh, that's what it was.
It's the box.
But yeah, Takato's okay, I'm leaving in the morning to another world. I'm gonna need a lot of food.
I might need some water, I think. I don't know, man.
Yeah. And then his dad just goes into the other room and he's I'm about to start making a lot of bread.
Takao's hey, do you think I need to be vaccinated for rabies or whatever? I know there might be a lot of rabies in the Digimon world.
Yeah. And I understand the way his mom is acting, and she's freaking out about the whole thing, and it's my 10-year-old son is about to go to a parallel universe, and I don't know if he's gonna come back. I understand that. Meanwhile, his dad is just yeah, sure, whatever.
Takao's just like, hey, yo, are there Digimon fish? If I bring a fishing rod, would that be good? Ah, no.
Like as a kid watching that scene, you're like, oh yeah, Takado's dad is cool. He gets it. He wants to help the kids. As an adult, I'm looking at it. This man is stupid irresponsible.
Takao's just off to the side, just like, hey, yo, like, do I need sunscreen? Ah, no, I think I'll be fine without it.
And his dad's logic is like, oh, when we were his age, we would have gone on adventures like this. And it's like, shut up! He's going to another world. This isn't.
It's like, please prepare a Ziploc bag full of air. I might need it. There might not be any in the digital world.
It's like I just feel like he should be a little more concerned. Let's see. We get a small glimpse of the Jerry's home life.
Yeah, not really much to say with Jerry, I feel like.
It's kind of we see Rika at home, and she's hanging out with Renamon, and then her grandmother shows up, and Renamon's about to bolt, and her grandma's like, "No, wait, hold on."
Yeah,
it's fine.
So this Rika's one honestly makes like the most sense, I feel like, because it's like, all right, our family's like super into like traditional Japanese like aesthetics and mythology and stuff. So they're like, oh yeah, it's a fox spirit that protects you, and they just get it.
Yeah. She was like, I thought it was a fox spirit protecting Rika. Turns out it wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
Like, she never saw Renamon, seemingly. Like, that's what that tells me. Yeah. And then when she sees Renamon, she's like, oh wow, I was right.
Like, she might have caught a glimpse of it, like, here and there, Yeah,
maybe. But yeah, of course she believes in this kind of thing.
Yeah. And, like, Rika's like, alright, I'm gonna leave home, like, I'm gonna leave my parents behind, so, she puts on that, like, weird frilly dress her mom wants her to wear and just sort of comes downstairs for her.
And it's like, oh, you made me very happy, and then she leaves.
Yeah.
Also, what's the... It's just... This is something that happened like 22 that I forgot to bring up. What's the Japanese like thing where they answer a phone by saying moshi moshi? Like,
so I believe that's just hello.
I thought there was something to say humble. Moshi moshi.
Because I know there's like a effing scene in One Piece where like Kizaru's attacking an island and he's just like his phone's not working, so he just keeps saying moshi moshi into it. And everyone's just like freaking out, like, what's with this guy? They're like, oh, we're gonna take him out while he's like on his little snail phone, and it doesn't work.
You say moshi moshi. You say moshi moshi on the phone, and you say that because like Kitsune can't answer, it can't say that.
Is that what it is?
I might be making myself sound like an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. But that sounds kinda right, I guess.
Foxes answering a phone in Japan, one often prompt moshi moshi rather than hello. Foxes cannot produce the sound, so you can rest assured there's no fox disguise on the other end of the line.
Yeah, that sounds right.
If you don't hear this phrase, hang up, because you're probably falling into a trick set by a fox. I don't know. The point I'm making is
never trust like prank callers, because they could be a fox.
The point I'm getting at is Rika answers the phone and says moshi moshi, and it made me think, if she called Renamon on a phone, could Renamon respond with that?
With the moshi moshi?
Yeah. if that like Japanese lore thing is like to be believed.
Oh, that'd be a good fan comic or
It
something.
it's just a stupid thing that came to my mind because I don't remember where I heard that. Uh,
Like
where I,
robots trying to say it, but it just doesn't work.
like she just cannot form. Uh,
Like she'd talk like normally, but it's like, oh, I just can't say those words. I don't know what it is. To be fair, like, my Osman seems to be weak to sunlight and he sucks blood, so it probably works like that. Blood, a substance that would not actually exist in the digital world.
creatures, shapeshift, create illusions. Okay, I think this is a more believable website saying that that's actually a thing.
Yeah. For all we know, this could be like the whole like Australian drop bear thing, where it's like, oh, look at what we can get foreigners to believe.
Well, I think this is real because it's not the first time I've heard it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, something I forgot that I wanted to mention. Suddenly remembered. Anyways.
But yeah, like, we have a scene where it's like, they say goodbye to, like, the teacher, and they, like, leave her, like, a letter that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be skipping school for, like, a month. And it's like, oh.
She's like, what do you mean? What is this?
There's like, yeah, we have to, like, save our friend, and, later. And they're being, like, super respectful about it, but she's just freaking out.
It's like, why did you tell me? And they're just like, well, it'd be rude to skip school and not tell you.
Just like, yeah, but now I'm, like, legally accountable, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression. Like, she has a full-on breakdown. She is freaking out. They're just like, hey, please don't tell our parents until after we're gone. And it's like, maybe it's just because they're kids. They don't realize the amount of stress they have put on this woman.
Yeah.
This poor woman is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, like, up until now, it's like, alright, this is a normal class. Like, biggest worry is that it's like one of them might be like a prankster, but that's like just sort of stopped.
Yeah. She has a sudden realization. She's like, wait a minute, the kids with the Digimon, and then Terriermon's just like, yo, you mean me?
And he's like, oh, these children are going to like go to another planet and fight monsters and like live in the wild with dragons and stuff. Well, fuck.
Also, Kenta and Kazu don't even tell their parents, not directly at least.
Yeah, they just leave.
Also, it's implied that Jerry didn't either.
Oh my god. Like, can you imagine? It's like, you just like, you wake up one day, your kid's gone, and you're like, hey, what happened? You like call the teacher, they're like, hey, so like, they left a letter behind that said all of them are just going to the digital world. It's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? She's like, they said not to and I couldn't stop them.
Let's say either that or she like lies, but then she has to live with the guilt if anything happens to them.
Oh, but I sure hope nothing happens to these kids to screw them up forever. Like, can you imagine, like, this gets to the digital world immediately, like, Kazu just dies? It's like, oh no.
Kazu's the dumb one.
So, like, I mean, it's easy to joke about, but it's like, you think back for, like, just a second, it's like, yeah, the digital world's no picnic. Like, yeah. Adventure was all about how, like, oh yeah, like, we have to fight in a war now, and it's really terrible and horrible, and, like, people are dying all around us left and right.
Yeah. Also, it's slightly related just because it's around the same topic. Henry told his dad via email. I assume I assume it's an email that won't arrive until after they're gone because it wouldn't make sense otherwise. Because he's like, yeah, my dad would try to stop me if he knew.
Yeah. Yeah, because after it's like there's a character we keep calling Henry's dad that's like actually his uncle or something.
Isn't it his dad?
I maybe no, because like I assumed his dad was somewhere else.
Also, I wish I remembered what his name was so I could stop calling him Henry's dad.
It's probably not even Henry's dad. Whatever, like, if you're watching along or something, then like, like, I clearly these videos aren't gonna be like a good substitute for the show, I guess.
Oh no, we're
Yeah, if you're watching along or whatever, then like you probably have a better idea of how this works than we do. You're probably like just super confused about why we keep calling him Henry's dad.
I mean, it is his dad.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, they one of the things they're trying to find out is they know there's a portal to the digital world somewhere, but they don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Turns out Guillemon's been sitting on top of it the whole time.
Yeah, he just sort of dug it up.
He's like, "Hey, look what I found." He sticks his hand out towards it, and it starts like doing that thing where it's like gonna erase him or whatever.
Yeah.
Guillemon's just like, "No, it's the portal. It's just right here. I dug down here and found it."
Yeah, just the weird like hideout they had him laying in, where he just digs around all day.
Yeah, the reason it's kind of implied that Guillemon is like drawn to it, and that's why he's been digging into that little tunnel the whole time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so they all like go out there and like, Takao made a new flag for him that includes like Kenta and Kazu and like Leomon.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh yeah. They address that Kenta and Kazu don't have partners. It's like, why are you coming? And there's like, well, maybe your partners are in the digital world.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, fair enough. Like, if Jerry can make a Leomon her partner, then, like, you could find anything there. Like, maybe you're just gonna come across, like, I don't know, like a Digitamamon or something. And it'll be like, oh, my partner's an ultimate sick.
You think it too small.
Oh, man. This, like... Can you imagine if, like, this show up, this, like, they just see effing, like, what would be like effing Alphamon just fighting something or whatever, and Wom just, like, is like, oh man, Alphamon's so cool, and a Digivice just appears. It's like, well, I guess this is working. Man, how good would it be if, like, you're just staring at something really cool and you're like, oh man, yeah, my partner's gonna be effing Skull Greymon, and like a Digivice appears, and you look over and there's like effing like Salmon or something. There's just like a Betamon crawls out of the bushes like, oh, so you're my partner now.
Okay. Look, I'd be psyched to have a Digimon partner regardless of what it was.
Yeah. I mean, like, I say Salmon and Betamon, but those would actually be pretty solid.
Yeah, wait, Solomon's cool. Betamon can turn into cool water-type Digimon.
Betamon's great, I love him.
Like, I'd be disappointed if I got, like, a Numamon or, like, a Sukamon, but even then, I have a Digimon.
Like, okay, well, if, like, you get your Numamon, and it's, like, going through, like, its whole thing, like, it turns into, like, I don't know, what's, like, Vetamon or whatever, the weirdo alien.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man, this thing's, like, I like how Digimon, but it's kinda lame. And, like, its Mega Form comes out, and it's, like, something just super cool, like, effing... I don't know, what's, like, a really cool filth type?
Well, Vademon can turn into that it's like a robotic alien Digimon. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that would be like kind of unexpected, but it turns into like Skull Satamon or something.
Well, I mean, if we're sticking to the filth thing, I wouldn't be too disappointed in like a metal Etamon.
Yeah, that'd be fair. Like, no, like you get like what's the name of the mouse one, like Mincemon or something, and then it turns into a Sukamon. And you're like,
Chumon,
oh, this is yeah, Chumon, yeah. It
the
turns into
Suka.
Sukamon, and you're like, oh, this sucks. And it turns into Adamon, and it's like, okay.
This'll do.
Like it becomes King Adamon or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I feel so bad because I'd get like a filth type Digimon like Chumon. You know what? Chumon wouldn't even be so bad because at least it's like a mouse.
Yeah.
It's like all right, it's kind of a silly cartoony mouse, but hey, it's fine. Then he turns into like a slug or like a giant piece of poop, and I'm like, it's like I know you're my partner. I'm sorry, I can't help it though.
I'm
I feel
surprised, like, I'd be
I
surprised if they never do that for a character.
Yeah. Well, everybody who's partnered with a Numamon loves Numamon. That's like a running gag in like Digimon games and stuff. Lily from Tekken has a Numamon and she loves it.
Oh, that's great. I know Lily got nothing Numamon.
Yeah, in Digimon World Redigitize, she's one of the people you can fight in the arena, and
Oh man.
yeah, she's got a Numamon and she loves it.
I'm trying to think of like what goofy partners would be there. Just like it's like, oh, you get like a Kunimon, and it's like, oh yeah, it's the other like Wormthit. It's like, okay, yeah, yo, this might work. And it turns into Roachmon. And it's like, oh, we're going down that line, huh?
It's like, bro, just don't eat out of my garbage or whatever. I'll like feed you like real food.
I'm glad I have something that can fight. I'm less glad that it's a giant cockroach.
Yeah. Which again, it's like, oh man, I feel bad. um.
Man,
Also, on the topic of Digimon eating food, it just kind of occurred to me. It's like Guillemon's been eating nothing but bread. Like
yeah.
that can't be healthy for him. But then I also kind of thought, well, he's a Digimon. Maybe it's just like any food at all turns into energy, and that's all he needs.
I would assume that's how it works, because otherwise, like, I don't know, bread's like high fiber or something, isn't it?
But high, what's it? It makes you fat. It makes you
Yes.
real fat if you eat a lot of bread. So
Yes,
Guillemot,
Scott Pilgrim bread makes you fat.
yeah, bread makes you fat. Uh, so yeah, Guillemot should be like as fat as big as a house, but it's like, nah. I assume that it's just like it's converted into data and then into energy, or the other way around.
I never thought you'd be the one to go into Big Chungus Guillemon.
Well, I mean that's not what I said. I was just saying that Guillemot would be fat from eating so much bread.
Oh man. Man, like how much would it suck if it's like, you got like was like Gazamon, yeah, like the little wolf one, and it's like, oh, that's cool, and it turns into Nannymon. And you have to go down the Mommymon line.
He'd be wanting me to buy booze, and I do not buy booze or drink it myself, so I'd be like, sorry, man, you have to drink something else.
Yeah, he wants you to buy booze, and because it's Digimon, you're also like 10.
Why do I have to be 10?
Just like Tamers, right?
Ideally, I have a partner Digimon at my current age.
It's like, no, shut up, you're like 12 or something, or it's just like your Digimon's an old man, Lenzer's like a weird bald guy that's like a ball, and he's like, hey, buy me some booze, kid.
I don't want to talk about the 2020 anime too much, but on the last episode that came out, it ended with all the kids separated.
Yeah.
And, like Joe's in like a hot springs, and it's like, oh yeah, you guys ended up in like dangerous locations, and I'm fine or whatever. And he's just like chilling in a hot spring with a towel on. All of a sudden, Nanimon is standing in front of him, and he's just glaring at him.
What?
Like nothing has happened. Like the Nanimon hasn't done anything except stare at Joe. and that's where it's left off. The rest of the episode is dedicated to Tai and Agumon, but
wait, was he just staring at him the entire time, or does he just appear?
he like Joe is like talking through his digivice to the others. He's just like, yeah, whatever. We should meet up here or whatever. And then he looks up, and Nanimon's just glaring at him.
So we don't know if he's just been standing there the entire time, or if it's like, just like he just appeared.
I think he showed up, because it does show him from further away for a moment, and he's not there. But yeah, Nanimon hasn't said anything, and Nanimon's just standing there with his arms crossed. It's just glaring at him.
Man, like, what if you just, like... What if you get, like, a partner, and it's like, it's like, you get, like, Terriermon, let's say, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got, like, a cute little bunny thing, and, like, your partner appears, and it just glares at you, and, like, no matter what you do, your Terriermon's just glaring at you, like, with intense hatred. Like, he obeys orders, but he just gives you the stink eye constantly, and refuses to not look at you.
I would try to figure out what's wrong. I mean, if I'm going to be his partner, it's kind of like my responsibility to be like, look, I don't know what I did, but what's the deal? You all right?
You didn't do anything. You can't tell what he's thinking.
And he won't talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I just kind of embrace my new partner who, having a partner who, I have a partner who's the strong silent type, I guess.
Do you try to cheer him up?
I guess. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant earlier. Is like try to make things better. Whatever happened, it's like
you take him to the amusement park or whatever. He's still just staring.
I'd just be like, look, man, if you're not gonna talk to me, I don't know what I can do to make you. No, I hate me. I don't know.
I think that's an episode. I feel like we're done here.
Yeah, the kids gather up in the morning to go to the digital world, and then they head for the portal, and they'll go to the digital world next episode.
So, like, any foul thoughts, I guess?
No, not really. Well, I mean, it's kind of like the first arc of the show ended, and we're going into the next one.
Yeah. I feel like that's something I want to because it's like, that's the weird thing, because it's like, this is the first series that's like, not had like a proper villain, really. Like, not a proper main antagonist, Yeah,
it's just the Devas and their god.
Yeah, like a god that we never really see or hear about. So it feels like the monkey is like the first real, like, like proper antagonist character we've had, right?
Yeah, because he's the first Deva to show up that they don't take out.
Yeah, he's the first one that's actually like, like stays around and has like a plan and like does things that have consequences.
Yeah, Makuromon seems competent.
Yeah. Very competent, very weird. Probably gonna be a bigger deal later on, I imagine.
I like that he's a weirdo. I like his design. I like his Japanese voice. I like a lot about Makuromon.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like I guess that's it, isn't it?
Yep.
Alright, I guess I'll see you guys around later.